Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Triple Threat Podcast. This is a podcast where three brothers talk about stuff that's going on in their world, in the world of entertainment sports. It's basically like every other podcast, except it's with us. We are coming to you from across Canada. My name is William Vaughn. I'm coming to you from Vancouver, BC. Got my two brothers on the. Got my two brothers, dude. Coming from the East Coast, where it's been a little snowed in. I got Matthew and Alex. How you guys doing?
You've gone very formal with the names this week. You're William, I'm Matthew. Alex still gets Alex, though.
I should have been Alexander. Well, Alex can be shortened. Bros. That's Alexander. It could be shortened to so Alexander could be Alex or Al or Lex or Xander. There you go. Yeah. Just like William can be Will, Bill, Billy, Liam, and
Male,
and that's about it.
That last one's not true.
Well, I mean, Liam backwards is male, and
yeah, male, sure. And then Matthew, you can be Matt or Maddie,
or yeah,
and that's about it.
So there's been no breakthrough person named Thew.
No, not yet, and there shouldn't be.
Yeah, maybe some things just aren't.
That's
there
what they said about Topher Grace, and look where he is now.
After Spider-Man 3.
Editing Star Wars movies together.
He's in Interstellar for about 5 minutes.
Oh my God! Spoiler.
Oh yes. Sometimes we talk about. Sometimes we talk about
new.
Movies. Sometimes we spoil movies for each other. We review movies.
We generally don't, though. We're much better.
No, I said sometimes. No, we do a good job. Someone else's name that can't really be shortened to anything. No, actually, people call her Sarah.
Nice. No.
Or you can call her Sarah Bear. Ms. Sara Canning was so kind to take time out of her incredibly busy schedule. And I know it sounds like a cliche, but she does a really good job of keeping herself very busy and then making time for her friends like me. I call myself her friend.
She toes that line.
I don't think she would. But we, and I say we, I mean myself, I talked to Sarah in August, and this is right before she shot off to do Remedy Season 2, coming to you on Global Monday night, March 23rd. So keep an eye out for that. Should be a good season. Also, I've talked about it before, but the movie Edward debuted in California about a week or two ago. Actually, it would be 3 weeks ago. To rave reviews. People really like it. So we really appreciate that. But I got a chance to sit down and talk to Sarah. You folks on Twitter shot us some questions. Very kind of you. So now here's finally the interview that we did in the summer last year, and now we're coming up on spring this year, and now we're finally about to release it. So we don't, guys, we don't do a lot of interviews, do we? This is basically the first one we got coming up.
No, we don't do, nor will we.
Well, we might do one again.
I mean, I'd love to. It's just something,
maybe we can we'll interview you right now, Alex. It was your birthday this past weekend. How was it?
It was delicious. It was good. I enjoyed myself.
Delicious. Oh, good. Well, you should.
Fun.
You're a healthy, fit young man, and you should enjoy yourself.
I'm not really any of those, but okay. No healthy, no young, no thin. Oh wait, I am a man. I meant. Okay,
I'm not really any of those.
Hold on. Strike that. Reverse it.
Strike that. Put your thing down, flip it, and reverse it. So guys. I mean, without further ado,
that's why I don't get interviewed, by the way, because that's all I have to offer.
That's is shooting down whatever the interviewer says. Alex, you're these things. Yeah. No, I'm not. Okay, well, fair enough. Without further ado, guys, I spoke to Sarah for about an hour, and here we go. It was uninterrupted. Oh, I should mention, too, I think we shout out to them a couple times.
Shout out to Luna and Larry's. Introduce this thing?
Look, this is a very formal podcast. I want people to know that if you haven't heard it before.
Without further ado.
And also, shout out to Luna and Larry's Coconut Bliss non-dairy dessert. Sarah and I enjoyed a pint of that during the interview. Some people have. Is
that going to be enjoyable to listen to then, or what?
It's just us going like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the worst noise of all time.
Well, you're about to get quite a bit of it.
Hey, well, look.
Someone posted like a Vine, and it was just them sticking their finger in mac and cheese and like twirling it around. So just like 6 seconds of that. It was awful. It was awful.
That's too many. That's entirely the longest 6 seconds of anybody's life. That's terrible. Yeah. Well, the good thing was it was non-dairy iced dessert, so we didn't have to chew. There's nothing to chew on, right? You just kind of put it in your mouth.
Man. Actors.
Okay, so is everybody okay if we throw it in the interview now?
I don't know. Do you have anything to add? One more thing.
One more thing. Gosh.
Stamps.com.
I will mention, stamps.com. You hate going to the post office. I will mention that this song that you're about to hear was not composed by any of us, but maybe someday we'll get an actual song. What do you think, guys? Actual song? That'd be nice. Maybe someday. Look, we got a lot. We're almost we're almost a year into this thing. We got a long way to go, and
this podcast, like this current one we're doing right now.
It feels like we're about a year into it, doesn't it? Oh gosh. Okay.
6 months ago, you said you were going to throw to the interview.
Seriously, we do have Sara Canning coming up, and here's the song that we didn't write. Sara Canning, welcome to the Triple Threat Podcast.
Thank you.
It's very nice to have you here. You are our first interview, our first...
Am I?
Yes, you're the first extra member to the Triple Threat Podcast, along with myself.
Quadruple threat.
Matthew and Alex. Well, we'll have to talk to the patent office about that.
I know. I don't need to infringe on the triple threat. I'll just be triple threat plus guest.
Triple Threat plus guest.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Triple Threat refers to boys only, and then girls are a different category.
Yeah.
How are you?
Very good.
Yeah.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine. Currently, we're enjoying some delicious. This is Coconut Bliss, friend of the show.
Yep.
Coconut Bliss ice cream.
Patent pending? Are you allowed to say Coconut Bliss on air?
I think so.
Yeah. Maybe they'll send you a case now.
Well, they're an unofficial sponsor, just like Chipotle is an unofficial sponsor of the show. Yeah. So thanks to the people. Was it Lara and Larry? I think so. Luna and Larry's.
Luna and Larry.
Luna and Larry, wherever you are. Coconut Bliss.
We raise a salted caramel and chocolate spoon to you.
We raise them to you. Now, Sarah, I'm not sure when this is going to air. Currently, we're toward the tail end of August here in beautiful Vancouver, BC. Vancouver? Nope. Vancouver. Always has been.
Yeah.
And you're about to embark back to the Big Smoke. You never heard it called that?
I don't know. It's been a while.
It
sounds like we just entered a noir film.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I like it.
So, sweetheart, you head back to the Big Smoke,
Back to the Big Smoke, see?
To shoot Season 2, the hit global series Remedy.
That is correct.
Where you play Dr.
Melissa
Connor.
Yeah, heading back next week.
One of the crazy Connor clan. Mm-hmm. Patent pending on that one.
Patent pending.
Do you have any... I know the answer is probably no. Do you have anything you can tell the Remedy fans what to expect in Season 2?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm racking through my brain right now. I'm the worst person when it comes to spoilers. Like, I always feel like people must have hated interviewing me when I was doing the Vampire Diaries or even, like, Primeval New World, because I'm so vague about... I try to give away this, really kind of exciting feeling about the show, and then I just end up being super vague, and people.
Yeah, you're like, it's
like,
some people do
great.
Stuff, and then
people are gonna do big things, and people are gonna feel big things.
Yeah,
and I'm excited about it, and everyone's looking at me like,
well,
great, thank you.
Yeah, first and foremost, you probably signed NDAs at the wazoo.
Yeah.
So you don't want to let the cat out of the bag. You don't want to be that person. At the same time, you want to build excitement for your show.
Yes. I can definitely say that I think the core of the show is still going to be there. There's still going to be a lot of family dysfunction within the hospital and all of those relationships with the downstairs and the upstairs, the surgeons and the porters and everyone in between, nurses, and everyone's relationships will continue to be developed this year. But from what I have gathered so far, I think we will see a couple of new people, and I think that a lot of the family members will be sent in some pretty wild directions. Compared to the last season, I think it's now time for each of the Connors, especially, will be dealing with giant things in their lives. Giant changes, super vague.
So
there I am.
There you go. You just said
That's
what
right.
you.
I told you I would do that.
You're
and
a
there's
woman.
my exciting vague
A woman
answer.
of her word. Well, these shows. Sorry about that. Everybody just listened. My spoon fell.
No.
My spoon fell. The first season for any show, we've been introduced to everybody, and now we can kind of see them go off into new territories.
Yes. Yeah, and I always love when a show kind of maintains its tone and what it really is about at its core, but then we want to see people shaken up in new ways, and I think our writers are smart and wonderful and like to put us in compromising situations.
Yep, that's the idea.
Yeah,
that's definitely the idea.
Yeah.
And like I said, we're recording this from Vancouver, BC. You're not from here. Where are you from, Sarah?
I'm from Newfoundland.
Newfoundland and Labrador.
Newfoundland and Labrador. That's right.
What can you say? Because we're on the opposite coast of Canada. What are the main differences you can see between the two coasts?
It's funny. I was actually just talking with someone about this today because she just took a trip to Nova Scotia.
Hey, that's a great spot.
Yeah, I was yelling all about you guys being from Nova Scotia.
Trip That Podcast represent.
You snuck that in really well.
See that? Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah.
And I was sort of talking a little bit about what it's like to go home, and I love it. I love getting the chance to go back to the East Coast, but it feels to me like going back in time for myself anyway.
Well, because it's where you grew up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Both in that sense and also just I think lifestyles slow down a little bit in a really positive way, and it's something that I've been trying to implement in my own life wherever I am, because I'm finding myself all over the place lately, and yay, hey, it's the best to be able to travel around for work. But
yeah,
I think I've been really trying to find like the kind of simple things in my life that I can carry with me to whichever city I'm working in, and I find those things like really reinforce themselves whenever I'm back on the East Coast, because like you said, it's where we grew up, and there's just something that really clicks with me when I'm at home, and I always leave kind of thinking, oh right, these are the things ultimately that matter, and then that, pushes me further in my work, because it kind of clarifies for me like, oh right, this is what I love. Here's what I love doing, and here are the people I love, and those things are all connected in the end. It's why I love being an actor. It's all about people and people connecting, and not that that's not apparent here in Vancouver, but I just feel like there's a real openness and a real sense of community on the East Coast. I don't know. How do you feel?
Yeah, I agree with you. We're also really comparing apples to oranges, because here we are in Vancouver. It's the third biggest city in Canada. It's a bustling metropolis. We're kind of right in the mix of it, right in the heart of it. And then you go back home, and you're not from St. John's.
No,
you're not from
the Bay.
You're from the Bay.
We're from small communities.
A small community,
Coast,
yeah.
So, yeah.
And for me, I was from, I was only about a half hour's drive from Halifax, which in and of itself is not a huge city, but as a kid growing up, it was the biggest city I knew for years and years and years. But growing up in the suburbs is kind of a different. You know the people, like the people who lived across the street from me when I was a kid are still there now.
Right.
Everybody I think on all sides of our house have been there for at least 10 years apiece or something like that. So these communities where people have started and have stayed, and then you come out to Vancouver where, for example, we met at Vancouver Film School back in 2006.
Yes, we did.
That's where we met, and it was kind of people from all corners coalescing into one city, one spot.
A lot of transients.
Some people stayed.
Yeah.
Some people went. Throughout kind of the journeys that you and I have had, we've met people, and then they have
gone off to different cities. Some people have gone off to Toronto or Los Angeles or New York. People have gone off in all different directions.
It's funny because the conversation I was having earlier with this person about the East Coast, we also talked about being in this industry because she's a writer and is finding herself leaving Vancouver and is having mixed feelings about having to leave. And I said, this industry, we can't really rely on any form of stability.
Yeah.
And I think I really began to embrace that a few years ago because I remember feeling really squashed by living in a suitcase. And now I look at a suitcase and I think that's as much a house as anything else, because that's going to take me somewhere that if I just decide to like really enjoy my time there and be open to everything, about that new place, then you just kind of end up carrying your home with you, I think, in our industry, because we could find out the day before we end up moving across the country that, new job, yippee, pack really fast.
Pack really fast. Take only what you need to survive.
Yeah.
A friend of mine invited me to try out the Tough Mudder race next year. I passed on it this year because I'm smart. So he asked me to do it next year. It's on sale right now, but I'm thinking I'd love to sign up for it right now. It's on sale. Great. Nobody likes a deal as much as I do, but who knows where I'm going to be next summer. It's impossible to tell.
Yeah.
And I'd like to nominate you, Sarah. If there's an award for Canadian actress who's worked in the most amount of cities, like I think you need a Canadian flag. Here we are, a map. Here we are in your magnificently upholstered and resplendent apartment.
Oh,
I think on your wall somewhere you need a Canadian flag with a little poster of the movie you worked on in each city.
That's a good idea.
It's a neat idea. It's just kind of. But you've been all over the place.
Yes, yeah, I've been very fortunate, and up until last year, it had been mostly West Coast based. Worked in Alberta a few times and Winnipeg. We've both been in the Peg a couple times.
In the Little Smoke.
In the Little
Nobody
Smoke.
calls it that.
Let's start that. Let's call the mayor.
Yeah.
And Vancouver, of course, and then last year I started working in Toronto, and then I ended up working in Newfoundland on Republic of Doyle, which was a joy.
That must have been a real trip for you.
Yeah, it was. I mean, ever since that show premiered, it's been a little dream on the back burner of my brain to work.
Because you got a hit show that shoots
at
close to home.
And I got to pull out my accent, and it was really fun. It was the best time, and I love everything about working in Canada. I think there are really strong film communities popping up all over the country, which is a pretty special thing to see. And we're seeing like really beautiful and really quirky and compelling independent films, I think, coming out of cities all over Canada, and that's really exciting too. But yeah, I've been pretty fortunate I've seen a lot of Canada just from work. From working.
It just sends you. That's part of the exciting thing about this industry.
Yeah.
Is you really don't know where you're going to end up.
Yeah.
Or who you're going to work with, or who you're going to be. From day to day it changes.
Yes.
You wake up one morning and by that night you have to be a British person the day after. You know what I mean? Or you have to be, funny or moody or whatever. That's part of the things I like about it. I mean, for you, it must have been a real trip. Is my expression of the day.
We are tripping hard on this salted caramel.
What's in this salted
chocolate
caramel? I think it's salted caramel and hemp or something.
That's organic.
Sure, yeah. They shot the Vampire Diaries pilot up here. They cast it up here.
Yeah.
You're part of that cast up here. And then someone made the decision, or perhaps they had this decision in their mind all along, to move the production down to Atlanta.
Yes.
So you were a Canadian actress, worked on a plethora of things up until Vampire Diaries, a couple of TV films, parts in other CW shows, and you had a heck of a time. And then they kind of pluck you from Vancouver and take you down to Atlanta, Georgia, which I can't think of two more different cities outside of maybe Vancouver and St. John's or something like that. But going to Atlanta and receiving that news, how did you at first react? Were you excited for a new a town or apprehensive at all?
I was very excited, but for me it was the first pilot I'd ever done, so I didn't really understand what it was to do a pilot and then suddenly be thrown into a TV series. So that whole part was a whirlwind in and of itself. And I remember wrapping the pilot and Kevin Williamson coming up to me at like our wrap dinner or something and giving me a hug, and he said, "See you in Atlanta." And I was like, "Wait,
is that the
what's
first
that?
time you heard of it?
What? Where?"
You thought that was just an expression he used. It's
Well,
like, you were,
yeah,
hey, Sarah, you aren't in Kansas anymore,
Yeah.
but you will be because you're going there tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
Yeah. And I knew Atlanta existed. I knew it was very far away. And at that point in time, we had just shot the pilot, and I didn't know enough about the world of pilots and TV series to, get excited or not, or what was going on. Or
So
if
you
they
were
used me.
delightfully innocent to the whole thing.
I was delightfully innocent, and I remember finding out I was on White Avenue in Edmonton with my friend when I got the phone call that all was a go. It was official, and I think I had about 3 weeks to get ready to go, which was
It's a good amount of time.
yeah,
That's decent.
yeah, it is decent, and but there are a lot of technicality things that you have to deal with when you're a Canadian actor who's then going to go work in the States for a while.
Yeah, it's a big thing.
How do you pack?
Yeah,
How do you pack
what do
for
you
that
take?
long?
What can you take?
I didn't have a place. I just showed up and went to a hotel and then quickly found an apartment. Quickly found my way around.
So you had to find the apartment yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we also drove ourselves around. And I'm not kidding you. In Atlanta, I think there are 34 streets with the word Peachtree. You would know. Will has been to Atlanta too.
Yeah, I got to visit there a couple of years ago, and I had a great time. It was an interesting town. It's a town I never thought I would ever be in, but I'd always kind of wanted to go there because I'm a big fan of America. Yes, he's nice. That's my hilarious Borat impression.
He just threw up a peace sign.
Threw it up.
You couldn't see
yeah,
it.
and I had one hand in my pocket. You're right, though. Our Atlanta listeners will confirm that there are about 34 streets with the word peach in them because they're very proud of themselves. Even though I think isn't it South Carolina has a more peach production than Atlanta? I don't know. Maybe I don't want to start anything with our South Carolinian listeners.
Yeah.
They'll get some hate mail.
Watch yourself.
Yeah.
Watch yourself.
I apologize, but you really cut your teeth. You actually said to me that getting around in Atlanta and just kind of discovering the city that way made you a better driver, especially when it came to like new cities.
Yes, definitely. There's nothing like discovering a city than throwing yourself right into it, and I'm sure you did the same thing when I showed up in Vancouver to go to Vancouver Film School. I just bust around until I found everything.
Yeah. That's what you got to do.
Yeah, it's just you just kind of throw you into the deep end and you figure it out, and I think that's one of the best ways of doing things, really. It's just it's easier to discover more things, I think, if you do that, if it's not too planned and structured, if you don't have too many nerves about how you're going to get around. But it's a really great city. I still visit it very often, and I loved working there. People often ask me, would I rather work in Canada or the US? And I find that a very difficult question to answer because I think actors want to work everywhere. I want to work in Europe.
Work is work. I mean,
work.
Nobody ever, maybe some big shot LA people are like, oh, I have to go to Vancouver, I have to go to Canada, but
yeah, no, it's. I loved working there. I thought it was a really unique place to live, and I really loved everybody I worked with. So, yeah, it was a good time. And like you said, wouldn't normally go to Atlanta from Vancouver unless you had something very specific. And while I was there, I visited Charleston and Nashville and Boston and New York several times, and it's a great place for getting around to other cities in the South and the Eastern Seaboard. There, it's great.
Yeah, you really got to explore the kind of southern U.S.
Yeah.
and other spots of the United States you wanted to check out. And being on the Vampire Diaries, it certainly raised your profile up a large degree, sent you off into some cons and that sort of thing.
Yeah, yes.
And how's your con experience?
It's been great. People are so kind, and it's really wild to see people who are really big fans of TV shows. And I think it's because when I go to work, I get very into the work we're doing, and I don't tend to have a bigger picture of what's happening with, the world outside of people watching it, and that was a really huge thing with the Vampire Diaries when it premiered. It was like, 5 million people.
Yeah, that was the
this.
largest. That was the largest premiere CW had up until that time.
Yeah, at that time it was, which was pretty wild.
It's pretty
for
exciting.
us.
Yeah,
and it's a really interesting experience. I went to a great convention in Germany, and there were only I think 14 actors there, and we had like sing-alongs in the hotel lobby, and the German fans were so cool. I remember us all going to a pub one night, and everyone was there, actors and all the.
So you're just
people
completely
visiting.
mingling with the fans.
Yeah.
And did you feel yourself getting kind of mobbed there, or were you just kind of
No,
able to have a conversation with somebody normally?
Yeah, it was just a really. It felt a bit like being at camp or something. And I don't know, TV camp. But it was really fun. It was a really great time. Some of them, sometimes they can, I haven't been to San Diego Comic-Con. I'm sure that's
That'd be nutty.
Pretty insane.
That'd be nutty.
I've been to Dragon Con in Atlanta, and that one was pretty huge.
Yeah.
And I remember getting up really early one morning for some press stuff, and people had not gone to bed. Like, there were people in costume in the lobby going nuts, like, that had just been up all night.
Chugging Red Bulls. Just chugging Red Bulls all night.
Going for it. And they, it was like a weird, crazy dream, because everyone's in these costumes and they all, work very hard on these beautiful costume pieces, but it's like some of them are kind of frightening, and some of them are really, like, really intricate and beautiful, but just, I don't know if you're, and everyone's always kind of in a perpetual state of sleepy, but like you said, running on coffee and Red Bull.
Just caffeine.
Yeah.
And excitement and adrenaline. Like they've been waiting so long putting these costumes together for months at a time, for hours and hours and hours. And it's not free to get the material, even though you make it themselves. It's man hours.
Yeah.
It's, a friend of ours, she recently got into cosplay.
Yes.
And she said to me, she bought like 20 or so different kinds of glue before she could find glue that put these two very specific kind of fabrics together.
There's so much to it. There's like such a
that you
science
don't even think
to
of.
it. Yeah, no, you're right. And it's so it feels like kind of a 3-day Halloween party. Like, it feels like a big crazy Halloween shindig.
Yeah, and fans of their shows, this is why Twitter is so great, because fans of these shows can now interact with each other.
Yes.
Where maybe your friends in real life are into all different things, but you have friends on the internet who are into this show. Mm-hmm. And when this show's on, you can tweet about it and go nuts.
Yeah.
And CW certainly has a large number of followers for their various shows.
They have a very big social media platform. And you're right, like, everything is so interactive these days. A lot of TV shows, I think, are working hard to have a real online interactive community and that communication with fans, in order to make them feel like they're having some influence kind of on how the show is being presented to the world and how it's being received, and more so than ever, I think, now. And there's always live tweeting, and there are often like contests, like internet stuff, that end up bringing fans to the set, or things like that, and direct question and answers with actors. And it's a whole other realm. It's a whole other side of work that I've been getting used to, because there's a lot of that now that comes when you don't just learn your lines and go do your thing on set anymore. There's a whole world now to promoting a show, which is really important. You need people to watch your show in order to get another season to go back to work.
You got to tell them about it. Yep.
Yeah. So it's definitely a skill that it's been a pretty interesting thing for me to find what my online presence, how I feel is the best way to make myself available to fan bases. And
you've done a fantastic job about it. You've always, anytime you've tweeted about a project, you've always not just said, check me out in this show.
Look at me.
Yeah,
I am so good in this.
You certainly don't make it about yourself. You say, check out this great movie that I'm in, written by this person, directed by this person, and I get the opportunity to work with these great people, and you give them all a mention. or use it recently. Like I said, we're recording this near the end of August. There's the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge.
Yes.
You've certainly participated in that. You have the We Canada cause, the environmental cause. You've done a really good job of using your profile to bring awareness to all these great causes, and I think that's something that every actor needs to, or every person of influence needs to use Twitter for this power. Like I see Leo DiCaprio. We're friends like that, but Leo. All he tweets about are his causes.
Yeah.
Like that's a really cool thing.
Yeah.
And there's other people just, tweet about themselves.
Yeah, there's
present company included. I'm talking about me.
Well, I think there are a lot of different doorways with Twitter that you can kind of. I made the joke the other day. I was talking to someone and I said, well, every 13th tweet, I try to make a joke or something, just to be like, I'm still a person.
Just lighten it up.
I'm still a person over here,
or something like that. Yeah.
But yeah, it's a great, it's a really great vehicle too for promoting. We have so many friends in great bands and with independent theater companies and doing independent film. That it really is a great tool for helping promote those things that we really care about. I know we both do that, and I don't know, that's what I really like to get from Twitter. I actually do get some of my news from Twitter. It's just so...
Good or bad, right?
Good or bad,
Good or bad, yeah.
And whether it's well-worded or not, it just kind of comes at you hard and fast on Twitter. So.
Yeah, and you need to be careful how you process all that information, too. Just like anything. I think it's... the neat thing to me about Twitter is that everybody's tweet is the same size on the page. It doesn't matter if you're Justin Bieber with 86 jillion followers, or whoever, if you follow your mom with 2 followers, they're the tweets are the same size.
Yeah, you're right.
Just like some little numbers in there change, but everybody's message is the same size.
Exactly.
I think that's kind of interesting. It puts everybody kind of, of the 7.5 billion people we have on the earth, puts them kind of at the same level.
Yeah, it's like, what do you have to say? Let's get it succinctly, because we are a population who's getting immense amounts of information all day long. We were just talking about this, actually, you and I, that I am definitely trying to monitor how and when I use the internet, and how much I'm really trying to extend the amount of time that I spend in, real tangible reality. With, connecting with people, like actually talking to real human beings in front of me.
Like we are right now.
I'm tweeting this whole conversation.
Yeah, this whole conversation. I mean, me and on the podcast, me and the bros, we always record our show on Skype. Because we have to. They're in Halifax, Nova Scotia. I'm in Vancouver, BC. But
that's nice. You get to actually have FaceTime with them and see them. And,
it still is a conversation. We're not, we text all the time to each other, but we still, the great thing about this show is that I talk to my brothers more now than I did, even when I lived with them at some point. It's because we're so busy, but we actually make the time to sit down and have a conversation. And I'm glad, Sarah, that we get to sit down and have our conversation right now. And speaking of Twitter... I recently went on and asked the great questions? The great Sara Canning followers, some questions, and we actually got a response, which was very, very kind of all of them.
Yeah, thanks for caring to ask.
Yeah, thanks everybody. So
asking is caring.
We have asking is caring. I'm gonna get that tattooed on the front of my neck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Not a good call.
Think about it.
Okay, so this one comes from Love Sara Canning, at Love Sara Canning, all one word.
That's very nice.
Yeah, and I'm surprised she's asking a Sara Canning question, but I figured this is the right one to start with, which was, how does she usually start her day? ? Smiley face.
Smiley face back.
Yeah.
Well, I actually set an alarm pretty much every morning. I like to...
Even when you don't have to get up?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I do, every morning. Because I find something that I want to get up for. A perfect morning for me would be waking up with 5 to 10 minutes of leisurely time to read something good before I get up.
Something good, like something positive.
Yeah, something
like
positive.
A nice thing to start the day.
Yeah,
nice.
And
like
then I eat as soon as I wake up because I'm always ravenously hungry.
Yeah, no matter how early we meet up, if you have to meet up early in the morning, you're like, I had a banana and yogurt and granola and
I've had 3 breakfasts.
Steak and eggs.
my metabolism in the morning is like a crazy monster, so I have to feed it. And then if I can make it to yoga, I love going to early morning yoga. This summer I actually biked the seawall a lot in the early mornings. So I'd take a book, or I write a lot in the mornings too, actually. I try to write while I'm eating my oatmeal, breakfast number 1.
There you go.
Or
she's like a hobbit, people. She's like Hobbit. She has first breakfast.
I do. I honestly have like first, second, third, and fourth breakfasts. But yeah, I spent a lot of time this summer biking the seawall, and then I'd take a stop on the beach and do a little bit of writing or reading and just staring out at the glorious ocean that we have in our backyards here.
Yeah, the pack osh. That no one calls it.
I've never heard
the
that.
Pacosh.
Makes me very uncomfortable.
She's gonna leave, and we're at her place. But she's gonna leave. Well, that must be a nice time of day to do that. Must not be too many people out, and it's not too hot either in the summertime.
Yeah,
getting out that time.
And I mean, if exactly, and the seawall gets very crowded here in Vancouver.
It's a popular spot.
It is a must for people
if
visiting.
If you visit Vancouver,
be sure to bike
check out the seawall. Rent a bike. We rented bikes a couple years ago. It's the first time I rode a bike in a long, long time. This is before you owned your bike.
And you didn't fall off.
I didn't fall off, Mom. I did it without training wheels.
Yeah, believe it or not.
Because they were extra. I didn't want to pay extra for training wheels. But that was tremendous fun.
It was tremendous fun. And then obviously when I'm working, the morning's a different thing. But it's pretty similar. I'm not a person who wakes up and rolls out of bed and goes to work. I need time in the morning to process.
Me too.
I
don't like getting up and having to go someplace right away.
No, me either. I need morning time. I'm a real morning person, I think, so.
Yeah, except I drink a lot of coffee and watch wrestling until noon. I like to start my day with some violence.
Yeah.
Well, that was, thank you very much, Love Sara Canning.
Thank you, Love Sara Canning.
At Love Sara Canning for that wonderful question. This comes from at Saras Perfect. And I'm guessing
that could be any Sarah. It's
not the picture. That's the picture.
I look like a Muppet in that picture.
Well, I think hopefully if they make a third Muppet movie, I hope you're seriously considered not to be the human in it.
No, but to be a
Muppet.
Yeah, I hope so too.
So at Saras Perfection has 2 questions, and we'll get this one done. Leo Palomino, or Alaric Saltzman.
Oh, I see. Which one?
Which team are you on? So, for those who aren't as familiar, Leo Palomino is your...
he was my love interest in The Right Kind of Wrong.
The man courting you.
And there was a lovely Australian girl who said his name.
Yes.
And that's why we just pulled out our version of an Australian Leo Palomino.
I've been told by Australian people that my Australian accent is excellent. And Alaric Saltzman, of course, was your interest in Vampire Diaries. Yes. So, if you had to pick one, it's Sarah. It's the Bachelorette. You have one rose. Is that how it works? Yeah. I'm going to pretend I don't know. You have one rose. Who do you give it
to? Okay. Well, that's tough because both dudes were pretty splendid to work with.
Now, I'm going to try to make it easier for you, and she said the character names.
Yeah.
So I would disqualify the actors. I know the actors were great.
Yeah, the actors were great.
Matt Davis and Ryan...
and Ryan Quanten. I think I'm going to have to go with Alaric because there is a... What do they call it? Shipper? Is that a thing? Shipper name?
Shipper name.
It's called Jalaric.
Okay.
We're both looking at each other we are 90 and we don't actually know what we're
which one is Shipper? What is he talking about?
It's a shipper that
Jewish
kids talk about nowadays.
Yeah.
But I guess I will have to go with just because there's a name for them and people still tweet me very excited things about Jalaric, even though, God bless them, Jenna's been dead for years.
Oh, so Jalaric is a combination
of Jenna and Alaric.
Okay.
Yeah, so
it's
that's
like
their shipper name. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, it's like Bennifer.
Matt's used the word shipper on the show before when he was talking about the Amazing Spider-Man.
Okay, well,
the word
good.
Shipper. So
we will
Matt
get
will know
Matt's
what you're talking
expertise
about.
later on that.
Matt right now, he's just sitting there, fingers together, kind of.
Yeah, like
Yes.
like Mr. Burns.
Yes, excellent. Yeah, so Alaric wins, and so he gets. So I'm guessing that Leo Palomino gets a stake through the heart, even though he's not a vampire. That's how.
No, we all love Leo Palomino.
Yeah, that's how he gets taken care of.
Yeah,
you can't joke his way out of that one. There's another question from Saras Perfection. You're gonna like this. What's your favorite movie or TV show you've ever been in? ? And then it's the emoji of a pink heart with a blue arrow through it.
Okay, I will choose to focus on the pink heart and the blue arrow.
Yes. What do you think that represents? Is that love? How is that love? I don't understand that. I guess it's Cupid's bow.
Or is it like a heart being ripped apart? I don't know.
If you can't answer this question, she's like,
you'll rip my heart right apart. That was a rhyme.
Yeah, it was a rhyme.
I always find these questions very difficult because I love every job that I do, and I find it very hard to pick favorites because things really influence and change me, I think, at different times in my life in terms of work, and I feel like every job I've had has sort of sent me on some kind of journey or some kind of like actor evolution realization or something. So it's hard to. I have favorites from different years and from different phases of my career. I guess a pretty popular answer for me when asked this question is a film I did called Blackfield because I'm now very close with the director, Danishka Esterhazy. She is a real role model for me in the industry. Just with
it's a bonus audio there, folks.
That dog feels the same way.
He's barking in his
barking
agreement.
His support.
Yeah.
I think she just tells really strong stories, and it was really amazing. I was 21 when I did that film, so it was amazing to be handed a character with that weight, and she was a very flawed character. So I think for me, it was one of the first times that I really explored how specific we can be as actors, and how I just loved when I finished reading the script. I couldn't quite place whether I thought what she did was right or wrong, or and I loved that because that's people.
It wasn't black or white. It was a little gray.
It was a black field, but the situation was not black or white. But I also loved the film we did together last summer. We worked on a film about Edward Muybridge.
Yes, that was a lot of fun.
And it was a blast. I'm so proud of the writer, director, producing team. Josh Epstein and Kyle Rideout.
Yeah, Motion 58, holla.
Motion 58, shout out. And they were excellent. All of the actors were excellent. It was a real case of, I think, passionate people coming together to make something from not a lot. Not a whole lot.
No, that was a project where everybody kind of it was won by elbow grease.
Yeah.
It was won by grit and sweat and
people who really
passion and love.
People really cared, and a beautiful script, just like the most amazing foundation. And
that's what brought everybody together.
Yeah.
That's where this passion comes from. Everybody wanted to support this great script, and for me, the Vancouver film community really came together for that.
Yes.
And I had an opportunity to work with you, Sarah, finally on something that was a lot of fun, and work with so many people I've kind of seen around locally.
Yes, definitely.
You bump into here and there, and then you finally get to work with these people on the same project.
That one was really incredible to work on. So I know we're both excited for whenever the world premiere will be, and sharing that with the world, because it was a pretty special thing for everyone involved. But I also love Remedy because it's a really challenging, amazing role, and an ongoing role for me. And I think the character and the show will continue to grow in really complex ways. And I love playing Mel Connor. She's a doozy.
What was one of the things because for Mel Connor, there's kind of two. There's the personal side of her, and she's a dagger, man. She's a tough cookie, and I know that's probably what really attracted you to the role, because you really appreciate these strong women, these strong female roles.
Yes,
and you do them so well.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And there's the other side where it's she's a surgeon.
Yes.
And
there are things like pancreatic odontectomies and appendectomies.
And there's not only just saying that, but there's also doing it.
Yeah.
And the way film works is that you shoot per location. So you can do 8 different scenes outside a door one day, and then the next day you shoot somewhere completely different, and you're inside the door.
So all of my surgery scenes were over one day. So if you watch an episode and there's 10 scenes in surgery, likely they were all shot.
That's all Friday, October 9th.
Yeah.
Get there at hair and makeup
5 o'clock in the morning.
5 o'clock in the morning,
and then
you
go
to the wee hours of the night.
Yeah, I felt like I was back studying for university exams when I was preparing for those days, because I would get my mom to drill me on my lines over the phone.
Yeah,
and
like the pancreatic.
Yeah,
you said.
I think it's 12 syllables, 11 or 12. Pancreatic odontectomy.
Then that was the winner. That was my biggest word. That was the prize word.
Yeah. Yes, for sure. Laparoscopic appendectomy is a good one too.
Yeah.
My sister Sandy in the show, Sarah Allen, who's wonderful and plays Sandy, had a scene where she had to say that over and over, and we wanted to put it on T-shirts at the end of the. Her line was 4 laparoscopic appendectomies, because she's like making a point of they're pretty simple surgeries. Like I mean. There is no simple surgery, but
let's get
for Mel, it's like a pretty common procedure, and so she's making a whole point about you've only been doing laparoscopic appendectomies.
Okay.
It was a fun day on set. We were also eating a pint of ice cream, and our brains were frozen, and it was just a good time.
In the scene, much like we are right now, with our delicious coconut bliss. Thanks, Luna and Larry, the friends of the show. We appreciate you guys very much.
But this is dairy free, and we were having the full thing, which as an actor,
like Ben and Jerry's, they're friends of the show too.
It was amazing. It was an amazing Toronto ice cream company, and the ice cream was incredible. But as actors and or voice people or musicians or singers would know,
bad for the throat.
Bad for the throat.
I told a story about how I drank a half-liter of chocolate milk while I commentated a wrestling match. And you can go back and listen to the show to figure out how that one ended.
It's real phlegmy. Real phlegmy good time.
Yeah, because it did not end well at all. Before you left for Toronto, were there any people that you spoke to, sometimes you talk to like a cop or you do a ride along. I don't think they let you do that anymore. But where you talk to a judge. You want to be a judge in the show. I don't know anyone who's done that.
Sit in on a high-profile murder case.
Exactly. Yeah. Sit in on
without being invited.
Yeah. Just show up.
I'm an actor. It's okay.
Tomorrow. It's one line.
Oh my God!
Not guilty. Yeah. Oh, glad I went to court for that.
Yeah.
So, were there any real world people you spoke with before embarking to Toronto?
Definitely. I met with 2 surgeons. One in person. I took him out for lunch, and then I spoke with a woman over Skype. And we of course have a medic consultant on set, so we did a boot camp, learned how to check each other's blood pressures and basic, If someone passed out in the street, like we know how to do basic CPR and things like that. Just passed out. Maybe don't do CPR on someone who's just fainted.
Well, there used to be a law, it's like the Good Samaritan law or something. Like to administer first aid, you have to first ask somebody. It's like, can I help you? And then they have to say yes. But if they're unable to say yes, you can administer it.
Because if someone's not breathing, it's like.
They can't.
They can't answer you, right?
Well, first of all, call an ambulance. Second of all,
yeah. But you really do want to, if you can, it's very important. Those this is turning into a PSA now, but yes.
But listen up to this, folks.
That is very important to try to get someone. It's an important skill for all of us to have. But yeah, I spoke with 2 surgeons, and they were wonderful in giving me their time and really were fine with a lot of questions. I asked them some personal things as well about, what is a good day like for a surgeon? What does a bad day feel like? And it's weird for, actors always have to talk about this stuff. We
always talk about our feelings.
We talk about our feelings.
Yeah.
But it's an odd thing, I think, for a surgeon to delve into.
Because they got to be ice, right?
Yeah,
they got to be ice
yeah.
veins, and they can't really, a lot of surgeons don't say, all right, so we're going to go in through here, and I got to tell you, I'm a little apprehensive about this.
Yeah, you don't want your surgeon to walk up and be sweating or nervous.
Sure.
They need to be in control, and they need to be calm. And it was fascinating and so helpful to chat with them. It really, really was, and to get both a male and female perspective, and also a pretty large age difference between the two of them. So I got a real sense of what happens when you've had 30 years out of med school, and how your bedside manner changes, and how your greater perspective of what you do. It all kind of falls into place in different ways throughout the career, much like actors, much like probably any industry, any business.
Any period of experience you have with something is going to change your opinion of it. A cop on day one isn't going to feel the same as he did on the day he retires.
Yeah, exactly. So that was very helpful, and really a nice way in, I think, for actors to chat with someone who's really living it day to day.
Now, did that kind of give you an opportunity to see where, because the character Melissa, she'd been a surgeon for how many years?
Well, I don't know what my exact age is on the show. She's in her fellowship.
You're not 40, so
no. She's definitely not 40, but she's doing her fellowship at the hospital. So basically, you get through med school and you do your residency, and then she's specializing in her fellowship in vascular surgery. So she's definitely worked her butt off. She's really worked hard. She hasn't been around for 100 years, but she's done a lot of surgery. And hence her indignation when Griffin comes back to the hospital, because he was always my brother on the show, Melissa's brother.
Played by Dylan Casey.
Played wonderfully by Dylan Casey.
Yeah.
And that's where her real, her hackles kind of come up, because she's been around doing the work and putting in the hours, and she's had to really. There's an episode in season 1 where Rico Colantoni's character Alan is overheard by Melissa saying, she's not a natural. She had to really work for it, and Griffin was always the star quarterback, and she's like, no, I'm the star quarterback because I've been here. I've been here doing the surgeries every single day, and
putting in the hours, putting
in the hours, and really,
and executing flawlessly.
Yes, for the most part. Until something goes wrong, and then she falls apart as a person, which just says leagues and leagues about her character, and where her priorities lie, and where all the tension and stress exists in her. She's a real fun broad to play.
She's a real fun broad to play. That's a quote from Sara Canning I never thought I'd ever hear.
I say broad with the most loving,
with all due respect,
intentions. Yeah.
We have one more Twitter question here, and again, thanks everybody for sending in your Twitter questions. This is from Adam Barkin, and you're laughing because I know you know who he is. Who is Sarah's favoriteest writer ever? Is it Adam Barkin?
Did he say favoritist?
Yes, he said favoritist.
That's great, because he's a writer.
Who's Sarah's favoritist writer
Not
ever?
a word.
Is it Adam Barkin? I bet it's Adam Barkin. Ellipses. So, who's your favoritist writer ever?
Adam Barkin is pretty wicked. He actually wrote said episode where Melissa really falls apart in season 1, and
see,
it was
and you didn't even know that. Well, I think you maybe had an idea that question was coming,
but it just segues so nicely. Adam is pretty great. He is a pretty fantastic writer. I hope you're happy, Adam. Favoritist.
I hope you're happy.
But yeah, his episodes were so much fun and so wildly OCD, and Mel has OCD. I didn't just decide to throw it in. It was planned. It was decided by the writers.
And also, she has a mustache. I decided.
Yeah, like that episode of 30 Rock when Liz Lemon decides to stop shaving or something. Just stop waxing her mustache. There will be an episode like that for Mel in season 6.
In season 6, 6 seasons in a movie. So outside of shows that you've worked on, films you've worked on, it's a hefty list. I tried to pick it up. I can't. It hurts my shoulder. But what are some of your favorite shows that are on television right now?
Ooh.
That you enjoy watching?
I just finished Breaking Bad belatedly. I came
I'm
to the table late,
horrifically behind on that.
Yeah, it is.
Is it everything they say it's?
I think so.
It's cracked out to be.
I feel like watching Breaking Bad, especially towards the end, is a little bit like visiting a museum, like a very prestigious museum.
Really?
Where sometimes I had to just take a step back because, shows are so often easy to just binge watch. And I was binge watching Breaking Bad, but I think it was affecting me on a much deeper level than your typical binge watch session would. It's masterful writing and acting, I think. It's really... and just the things that come up later on. Like, I would often think, like, how... Vince, the show, right? His name's Vince, right? Vince, showrunner. Vince Gilligan.
Vince. Yeah, crud. Talk amongst yourselves. Go on IMDb. He did a little guest star on Community this season.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, so did Mitch Hurwitz, and it was very...
Oh, amazing.
Very, very funny. Vince Gilligan.
Gilligan, yep.
On IMDb, the first thing he's credited for is writing Hancock.
Oh.
Okay.
Also
sure.
Breaking Bad.
Not the greatest show of the last 10 years. All right, sure, yeah. We'll say a decent Will Smith action movie. Anyway, Vince Gilligan, yes.
I would often think, how is his brain working? Because the foresight and the forethought and the just how skillfully storylines would come back together seasons later were, it's pretty brilliant. I loved Breaking Bad. What else am I watching right now? I have a lot of things that I'm about to start watching.
I mean, you don't have a whole heck of a lot of time to write, to write, pardon me, to watch stuff. I mean, but when you do make time, you make sure that it's something worthwhile.
Yes.
Like, I don't see you in front of your TV watching hours and hours of Pawn Stars or something like that. All due respect to Pawn Stars.
I have never seen an episode of Pawn Stars.
It's interesting, but it's like most reality TV.
Yeah.
It's very like, what do you have today?
Yeah.
Well, I don't think that's going to be worth very much. This is real.
I do not spend very much time with reality TV. Basically, anything on HBO, I will watch the crap out of.
Yeah, that's good stuff. I haven't watched The Leftovers, and I have all 8 episodes of True Detective sitting on my PVR.
Oh, that's the other one.
That's the other one.
True Detective.
I remember you talking about that.
Yeah, I loved True Detective. I also watched a really interesting female detective kind of... It's a Jane Campion show called Top of the Lake.
Okay.
With... my brain is like the worst today. Elizabeth Moss from Mad Men.
Okay.
And I thought that was a really interesting, sort of like a mini series, sort of like a series, but just really interesting piece of television. I find television incredible these days.
It's good. The last couple of years has come across a real renaissance.
Yeah. There's so much to watch, and I'm queuing up some things for. I'll be on a few planes in the next couple of weeks, so I definitely
queue up the iPad.
Yeah,
fire up the iPad.
Fire up the old iPad.
So those are television shows. What about over the last year? What do you like in the movie theater?
Films.
Movie film.
Let me rack my brain. What's come out in the last year? I just watched Boyhood, which was really interesting.
And that's the Rich Linklater movie?
Yes.
It's a 3-hour, shot over 12-year period.
Pretty wild to watch. Not just the boy, but the whole cast kind of grow over 12 12 years.
That's an interesting. I mean, we talk about how the industry is so unpredictable. Imagine being like approached, or maybe how long did Gosling and Williams live together before they did Blue Valentine?
Well,
Was it quite a bit of time.
I think they spent a month in a house. But they were attached to that film for years.
Yeah,
it took a very long time, and I love that film, and it took a long time to get that one made. But I think it shows in how great the performances are. There's no doubt that they have gone through a lot as a couple, and just to have that amount of time to sit with the characters and rehearse is golden. It's really, I love that. I saw Guardians of the Galaxy, and that's a delight.
that's the only movie this summer I've seen 2 times.
Yeah,
I saw it again the other day, and that's actually, as we speak right now, it's actually poised to be #1 in the box office throughout the whole summer.
Oh, really?
Which is interesting because me and my friend Ian, friend of the show, we would go to we saw a bunch of movies, and we saw the trailer for Guardians a bunch of times. And we're both kind of like, the Marvel's playing on the fact that people don't really know these characters.
Yeah.
I mean, Chris Pratt comes out and he's like, "I'm Star-Lord." And like, who?
Yeah.
Nobody knows who these guys are. What a bunch of a-holes, And then, I thought it was so great that it came out and people had such fun with it. Just had a fun time at the movie theater.
I thought it was exactly that. I thought it was a really, really lovely escape for people, probably just to have a good time while also watching a superhero type film.
Yeah, superhero film, like technically very well done and very fun performances by everybody.
Yeah.
And that's something, Sarah, that I like about you. I mean, you'll enjoy these very heavy kind of dramas like Blue Valentine. You also know how to appreciate a show like Guardians of the Galaxy, or you watch great television like True Detective, and then you also appreciate a series like The Simpsons.
Yes, yes, I can quote The Simpsons for days, which we often do.
And that's that's a show still kicking. Do you have a favorite, one of your favorite Simpsons episodes, if you could?
Oh, easy. Bard of Darkness is my favorite Simpsons episode. I even know the title of it, which is amazing.
Yeah.
That's the Rear Window episode where Bart breaks his leg and they get the pool.
Yeah.
And it ends with Martin singing, "The summer winds came blowing in." This is only funny for people who love, who are insane Simpsons fans.
Which I think should be most people.
Yeah.
If you're not a Simpsons fan, then
stop
you're
listening.
then you're my parents who didn't let us watch it for years and
totally.
years and years.
I know. It's like we left home and then binge watched The Simpsons and just got too much of it all at once or something.
Yeah.
I think that's what happened with me.
Yeah, we had a big.
What's your favorite Simpsons episode?
Yeah, gosh.
It's a hard one.
It is a hard one. I almost want to say Marge versus the Monorail.
Oh, yeah. That's a classic.
Just because the song is great, and it's written by Conan, and Phil Hartman has such a great, late Phil Hartman has such a great role in that, too. Yes. Just he lands the plane in, Shelbyville or Ogdenville or something, and there he is, C-27F. The mom runs after him. That was what was so great about The Simpsons in those early days, in those early years, because it was written by geniuses, the Harvard-educated men. It's like how Monty Python were all Oxford and Cambridge boys, right? Yeah. Who made this stupid comedy, but it's from geniuses.
The simplest things, and I think that was when it was. You're right, very smart, and just when it was at its peak was when the humor came from the simplest of situations, but they just had such a brilliant handle on things like C-27F.
Yeah, or Homer's got such a bad parking spot at his work that he ends up parking the fence right by his house, and Bart says hi to him as "Hey, Bart."
Yes. Oh man, the old seasons are they're pretty great.
Those are fantastic. Well, as we wrap this whole shindig up.
Shindig and Trip.
Shindig and Trip
of the podcast.
It's the word of the day.
Word of the day.
Shindig and Trip. So you're off to do Remedy. Is there anything that you yourself are working on? Maybe like a screenplay or like any. I know you're a very creative person. You always have something going on. And I wouldn't be surprised if you're just like, I'm off to sculpt or something, with a chisel and a hammer. I'm learning sculpting in Rome.
Yeah.
I'll be back
just
in a couple
going to
months.
Rome for the weekend.
Yeah.
No sculpting in my near future, unfortunately.
But hey, don't limit yourself, Sarah. Don't limit yourself.
I am not eliminating it from the itinerary.
Equation. Yeah, good stuff.
I've actually been chatting with an old teacher of ours, actually.
He's not that old.
Old man. No, he is not. About some potential. We've actually been really jamming on script ideas for a few months, and I think we've finally found something that we're very excited about. And we were trying to come at it from an angle of, what he's interested in as a director and what I'm interested in story-wise and relationship-wise within for the characters. And I think we found something that we want to develop, and so that's exciting.
Very vague as always. I like
very
that.
vague. Yeah, I don't want to give too much away, but it's definitely darker subject matter, which is great because I've gotten to do a lot of like romantic comedy type stuff in the last few years too.
Well, you've really explored all sides of the coin.
Yes,
Yeah,
I've been lucky.
You've been all over the map, which is a real treat. As an actress,
yes,
you're not just
is.
pigeonholed and being like, well, she's the funny girl, or
Yeah.
she's the, you've been able to show all these different great sides of yourself.
Well, thanks. Yeah, I have been very very fortunate to not have to live within like you said one little kind of area. It's been pretty broad, and that's what excites me, and that's what makes me want to keep doing this till I'm 90.
You'll be in Titanic too, and you'll be the old
Yeah,
Rose.
yeah.
And they'll make that
Rosalina.
Yeah, and you'll throw the heart of the ocean or whatever it was.
Yeah.
I'll
I'll slip it in my. No, this is a rewrite.
This is a rewrite.
Come on, let's keep it. No, that was a pretty magical moment when she threw the jewel overboard.
The jewel of the ocean.
Yeah.
Well, Titanic. It's another story for another day. That's
and how.
Sara Canning, I want to really thank you for your time here at the
Thank
Triple
you
Threat
for
Podcast.
your time.
I want to
Thanks
thank
for having me.
everybody who sent in Twitter questions. Thanks to our sponsors. Thank you, Luna and Larry, for this delicious coconut bliss.
Thanks, Matt and Alex, for letting me crash your podcast as well.
Yeah, Matt and Alex are standing by as we speak. They're just sitting there fuming.
Yeah.
They
Tense fingertips like
they
Mr.
can't.
Burns.
They can't get a question in edgewise. Sarah, best of luck, break legs, hearts,
Thank you.
souls,
Hearts mostly.
minds in Toronto. And hey, kid, this is just the tip of the iceberg to bring you back to Titanic.
Right back to
tip of
Titanic.
the iceberg, and then you're gonna get into some really great cold stuff.
Yep.
Much like, never mind.
Much
All right.
like this, Luna and Larry.
Much like Luna Larry and
Coconut Bliss.
Coconut Bliss.
Oh, right.
Sarah, I'll catch your ass down the road.
Thank you. Thanks, Will.
Well, wasn't that lovely, guys? Sarah, she was so nice to spend time with I. And, hey, maybe we'll do it again sometime. She seemed to enjoy it. I'm a really nice person. I'm a lot of fun. And what else is nice about me? Guys, what else can you say? I suppose not much. Well, we should make it more about Sarah. Sarah, quite lovely. Again, Remedy. Season 2.
Season 2.
Season 2.
March 23rd.
March 23rd on Global. Check your local listings for more exploits of the Connor family. It should be a lot of fun. It's going to be fun
if you
on
want
the bun.
some exploits of the Vaughn family. Keep listening to the podcast.
Listen to this podcast. We're on Twitter also. I'm at William C. Vaughn. Vaughn is spelled Vaughan. Oh, pardon you.
Okay.
And
There we go.
Matthew.
I'm at MP Vaughn on Twitter.
Yes, and Alex.
At Evonix.
And there you go. So, I just realized Vaughn is in all of our Twitter handles. I don't know why.
Oh, it's in all
I
our
almost
names,
figured
too.
to realize that.
Crazy.
So keep it locked here, Triple Threat Podcast. I don't know what we're
Keep
gonna,
it locked.
Keep it locked. Don't touch that dial. I don't know what we're going to talk about next week, but there's been we're all big football fans, so there's some football to talk about. We're
so much football.
So much football to talk about. Somewhat decent wrestling fans, and WrestleMania is just around the corner. Hey, I went to WrestleMania 27 with Sara Canning. She was just on this show, and she was very nice. And that was in Atlanta in 2011. What else? And then movies. We got some movies coming up. Summer movie season is coming up.
We do not
guys.
have movies coming up. I should really clarify that statement. We do not have movies coming up.
Hey, man, Murder, She Baked is coming to the Hallmark Channel sometime, I would think, before Christmas. I would hope.
Okay.
So keep it locked on the Hallmark Movies and Mysteries
What's
channel.
What's the title of that movie again? Sorry?
It's called Murder, She Baked,
Okay.
and that's not made up.
Okay.
I mean, someone made it up, but it is real.
I really wish I found out the name before this moment.
No, that's why I wanted you to. I wanted to announce it on the show.
It's a chocolate chip cookie mystery, murder mystery, right?
It used to
Baxter
because
Bernie
it's based,
in Murder, She Baked.
It's based on a series of books, and one of them is called Chocolate Chip Cookie Murder. I think there's like Blueberry Muffin Murder, Key Lime Pie Murder, and honestly, I'm not making those up. These are real books you can get on a Kindle, maybe get it through Amazon. Hey, if you go to Amazon,
do they have paper ones too?
We don't have an Amazon link. They have paper ones too. Yeah, paper books.
Okay, good.
Those are the new things.
On your iBooks.
Yeah.
On your iOS device.
Your ebooks. Get on
even your Mac.
Even on your Apple
iOS
Watch,
devices.
coming out April 24th,
There
right?
is no iBooks app for the Apple Watch.
Well, there's not. You can't read a book on your watch.
Sadly, no.
That'd be great. One
You can't
sentence
read
at
a
a
book
time.
on your-
I don't even
Just
know
scrolling
why
a
we're
word at a
bothering
time,
with
you
any
should-
of this, and why does anything
Digital
continue to exist if I can't read a book on my watch?
Yeah, we have not come far enough. All right, so that's what's happening. Yeah, if you have suggestions for the show, we just gave you our Twitter handles. So feedback we'd appreciate. And
If you want us to enjoy doing the show even less, tell us more things we should do as opposed to things we'd enjoy doing.
Yeah.
I say don't ask what your country, your podcast can do for you. Ask what you can do for you. What you can do for your podcast. What you can do. All right.
We got so far without you doing that impression.
Well, there it is, and that's the only time it'll happen. That's the only time that'll happen this week. No,
So your impression of JFK is based off of like Conan
Beautiful.
O'Brien's impression of
No, I thought they were-
JFK.
Conan O'Brien's exactly. Hey, he's from Massachusetts.
Boy, it's not what you can do for your country. Your country can do for you. Oh, I screwed it up, but I'm from Australia.
What are you, Hugh
Slip.
Jackman, doing that?
You
showing,
chickpin?
showing off your
Slip.
two sides. Two sides. Okay. Well, thanks, folks, for this week. I don't know how to get out of this, but
Have a good week. We'll see you. Goodbye.
all right, we will see you later. Have a good week. Thank you, Sara Canning, one more time.